Hey guys, thanks for bearing with us. This is Simone, your host of Girl, Is That Legal? And I'm so excited that you guys could join us this week. Apologize for the delay, but it's been a while since I've been on your screens and I wanted to get back into it. But we'll play the intro, give you guys a chance to join us, and get right into it to introduce my panelists. I'm still learning how to do all this stuff. Where is my intro? Oh, here we go. There we go. All right. Thank you guys. Let me see who's here in the comments. I want to say, first of all, thanks to Dina and Ebby with Ebby Reviews for being our moderators tonight. And ladies, when you get a chance, if you could just drop the websites for each of the ladies, they're in the description, so you should see them there. But we're going to go ahead and introduce our panelists. So starting off, let's do Kyra first. Hey, Kyra, how's it going?
Hi, how are you?
Thanks so much for joining us. So Kyra you are a family lawyer here in Texas, Houston, Texas, to be specific.
That's correct.
Yeah,
and I practice exclusively family law.
Wonderful. Tell us your firm's name.
It's called the Bastine Law Group. And we are actually the largest African-American firm in the Houston area.
Oh, fantastic. And are you all women?
We are.
I thought so.
The managing partner is an attorney named Ronnie Bastine Robinson. She's been practicing over 30 years, board certified in family law. And I am the senior associate at the firm, and we do exclusively family law.
Okay, so guys, if you need somebody to help you get that back child support from your baby daddy, from your ex-husband in Texas, Kyra is your girl. All right, so next up, we have my girl, Kyra. This is going to be nice and complicated. Kyra and Kyra. I knew I should have put Natasha in the middle. So Kyra, I've known Kyra for many, many years. We were also castmates. Well, we weren't on the same season of Ready to Love, but she may look familiar from that show. And Kyra, you practice business and probate estates. Is that correct?
So I do business. I do inclusive of trademarks, government contracting. I also do estate planning because as business owners, you should make sure that you're building a legacy and have an estate in place. And off of estate planning, I also do probate, which is what happens when someone passes and you actually need to put that estate in action. So located here in Houston, Texas, but we serve the entire state of Texas.
Great. All right. And last but definitely not least is my girl, Natasha, the lit lawyer. You are actually on mute, hon. You got to unmute yourself.
That would help. Good thing I waved, so you know.
Yes. So we knew you're there. And Natasha, you are there in Florida, and you practice. Here we go. You practice a variety of areas. You have a full service litigation firm, which is Harrison Advocates at harrisonadvocates.com, where you do litigation, personal injury, and contracts. Is that right?
Yeah, those are the main areas of practice for sure.
Great. Do you have a favorite of those?
Litigation. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I mean, it's exhausting. I'm getting a little old, so I need to find a new favorite, but.
Awesome. So, okay, guys, before we get started, and I just got to let you guys know. So this is not your typical lawyer podcast, like at all. No, we are actually very regular people. We want you to feel like you are listening to a podcast of your girlfriends, like you're at brunch with your girlfriends. Some of them just happen to work in the law. That's just it. So we are going to start with our disclaimer. Let me see. I got it down here. And make sure I put that up so nobody tries to sue me. Here we go. Where'd it go? Here we go. All right. So for the disclaimer, I'm going to read that for you guys. First off, before we get started, you guys are welcome to post your questions in the chat, give us your comments, etc. So the disclaimer, this show is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. We are not your lawyers. You have not paid us. Perhaps if you did, we could be your lawyers in the future, but not tonight. Tonight, we're multifaceted, brilliant Black women that like to talk ish, that like to read blogs, and like to mind other people's business from time to time. Also, note this is not how we behave in court. Okay? All great people need an outlet. Tonight, this is going to be ours, right, ladies? Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is how we act when we're at brunch. So just separate the two. This is not how we behave in court. We have sense and student loans, and we have the need for a work-life balance to stay sane. So if you want an actual lawyer, contact a lawyer in your state for help with your specific issue, or you can email my firm at records@redwinelaw.com or call 855-4-SIMONE with a Y if you need help with finding a lawyer, you need possibly me to be your lawyer or a lawyer referral. Also, I practice injury law. That's car accidents, that's serious injuries. I handle those cases across America. And I also handle within Texas, criminal and expungements. All right. Y'all got the disclaimer. Okay, we ready. I'm going to roll it. I'm going to roll it down the bottom of the screen as we go. Nobody's suing me. I believe in insurance, but I don't need nobody suing me. Okay. Any questions? Ladies, if y'all can see the comments, feel free to help me out with that too, because the way that you like my shirt, the way that my ADD is set up, I'm not really good with doing two things at once. So Dina said she liked my shirt. I will be selling these. Let me see if you could see it. Hold on. Camera's in the way. It just simply says allegedly. I love it.
Wait, that's your favorite word. That is literally
absolutely. I like to wear it because, like, when I have it on, and then my fiance is like lying or saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna take the trash out in the morning," I can just point to it. Allegedly.
Girl is the best.
Allegedly. Okay, guys. So we're gonna hop into it. So guess what? All right. So I want to start by we've got a number of hot topics on the slate for tonight. We're gonna try to keep this to be around an hour. But our hot topics are going to include Black China becoming a doctor, the Tamika and LaTocha family feud. Tennessee just passed a very interesting transgender bathroom law. And we're also going to talk about tricks that this family law trick that some rich white folks have been using to avoid having to pay tuition for their very rich kids. And last but not least, y'all, I am so excited to introduce my new segment. I don't know how to work these sounds, but I'll be the sound. That's the sound. Do I have my gavel? It's okay. So the new segment is going to be called On the Record. Say it together, ladies. On the record.
On the record.
So those of you who know me in real life, you know that I love doing background checks. I love running them. The history, I'll just be brief. Allegedly, right? It came from in law school. I was trying to learn the software that I took in a class. And I just simply, I started with my own name. I put, my last name in the system for Texas, the criminal system, not thinking, anything. And lo and behold, who just got arrested? My 85-year-old granddaddy for making terroristic threats. And he had just put up a $2,500 bond, which I knew he didn't have because he gets half of that for his Social Security. And the rest of that is an allowance for my daddy. So I called Daddy. I was like, Daddy, you get pop off $2,500? He was like, hell no. What you talking about? And I was like, Dad, I'm in the law library at my school, and it says that he was arrested and had to bond out for making terroristic threats. And my dad was so nonchalant. He was like, oh, girl, that ain't nothing. He probably was just threatening the neighbor again, telling him he was going to shoot him if he let his dog crap in the yard again. And I was like, that's a terroristic threat? He was like, oh, yeah, they changed the law. They get them for that all the time. So I was like, oh, my goodness. In addition, I've run checks on my friend's boyfriend on an as requested basis for the most part. So this new segment On the Record is going to be a segment where once a week, I select a viewer who has requested that I investigate someone in their life, and I give them a free investigation. They come online and we share the results. If you guys know, I've recently, there was a lot of videos just discussing how, unfortunately, I had to do this with someone who was being very unkind to me and had online bullied me, and I had to run a background check to simply fact fact check. And I realized, you know what? I was reading the comments and there were a lot of men that were saying, wow, if you're this good at, pulling paternity test petitions and, pulling, eviction records, various things, then you probably would be great at helping me research the women that I'm dating. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a good Christian. I'm going to help you. That's part of my ministry now. So if you would like to get selected, I select one person a week. If you'd like to get selected, you can come on here and be anonymous. But what you have to do is you have to email us at records@redwinelaw.com. One of the moderators, if you could put that in the chat, records plural @redwinelaw.com. And you just have to, just to get it started, in the subject line, put in on the record. Yeah, put on the record in the subject line. Let me know your name and your contact information, who it is that you would like investigated and why, and you might get selected. All right, ladies. Why are you shaking your head?
I'm gonna take a sip to that one, but okay.
Take a sip. Oh, I don't think I mentioned. So tonight we're having one of our very first guests for On the Record. So you guys are going to get to help me reveal the results that I have for her.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to help dig. That's
You said you want to help?
I want to help dig it up. That's the fun part.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
That's the fun part.
This is true. All right, so let's get started with good old Black China, y'all. They done said that Miss Black China has become a doctor. Did you guys see this on social media?
I did.
I did, and I did some digging into the school because I noticed that it was not an honorary doctorate degree. It was an actual doctorate degree.
Exactly. So let me kind of set it up and describe it for the audience. So Black China got a degree. She got a doctorate. Remember, doctorate from the Sacramento Theological Seminary and Bible College. Now, she paid $10,000 for this doctorate. She doesn't have an associate's or bachelor's. So apparently this is, I knew that you could air quote buy. I knew there had to be something where you could purchase some type of a biblical degree because Bishop Whitehead is a bishop, right? And he was a bishop fresh out of prison. So, I mean, I knew it wasn't the most legitimate. I just had never heard of doctors. So this is some type of a theological doctorate. And so this is this photo is what she posted, and a Twitter user says, "This phony doctoral degree, they don't require anything other than a high school diploma. How do I know? I just called the phone number on the website, and it's the cell phone of a man who was outside walking his dog, and he told me." So as ladies who each have, so when you graduate law school, you get a Juris Doctorate. So literally in other countries, we would be called Dr. So-and-so. In America, obviously, you're just called Esquire or attorney. But so as women who actually earned your doctorate, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I didn't really take offense to it at first. I just feel like, she's on her path to healing and whatnot. But upon further investigation and looking at the university, if you need a good laugh, and I'm not trying to be rude, I'm not trying to be demeaning towards her, but if you go to the website, I promise you will laugh a couple of good times. I chuckled at just trying to find out about them, trying to find out about the degrees, come to find out they're not even really, they're not accredited at all.
They're accredited, but just not the accreditation that we recognize.
Right. About some mammy-made institution.
Right. And then the guy,
even evangelical, whatever.
Right. And then it was something about about some guy that's a key, I guess, professor or something. And it was talking about how his background in producing and music and film and how he teaches a production and film class. And I was like, what does that have to do with theology? But
I guess right here on the accreditation page, I just wanted to add, ladies, they actually misspelled accreditation. So that's one clue. Perhaps. But Kyra, tell us about the background of the founder. So let me go to that Facebook posting. So this gentleman, his name is Mr. Benjamin Jimerson. Oh, Dr. Benjamin Jimerson Phillips. He wrote, God is good. I spent yesterday at Angela White's house sharing some laughter and good conversation. aka Black China, I was also able to present her a doctorate degree on behalf of STS College, and she graciously offered to help raise awareness for the Prince documentary that I'm directing, titled
Girl,
21, A Great
bye.
Loss.
So to me, I'm not saying it was a publicity stunt on Angela's behalf. I do not think so, but it's definitely a publicity stunt on this university, aka Benjamin Phillips' behalf. Like, and even like schools are known to do that, even when they do honorary degrees, because that honorary degree has no weight. It is just to honor that person for the contributions that they've made in whatever topic or industry. So with this guy, I think he's just trying to ride her coattail and the progressiveness that she's made lately, and trying to bring attention to this dupe of a university. And what does your documentary have anything to do with theology or seminary school or anything like that? But I did see that he was an accomplished producer, director, and author. He's managed multiple music and television celebs, such
He was
as
on Moesha.
allegedly Brandy, Vanessa Williams, Genuine, Cat Williams, Maya, Paula Abdul, Jay-Z, and others. And that their success in part could be attributed to him. So I'm just like, sir, what is your agenda? And I've never known a seminary school or a theological school to teach a class on movie and television production.
No, he's making this up as we go along. So I actually, before I say anything more, Natasha, what are your thoughts on this?
So at first, I definitely thought it was an honorary degree, especially when Kim Kardashian was doing her apprenticeship and taking, even when she was taking the baby bar, like we all knew about it. We knew every time she was studying, and we know that Black China's getting Angela is getting her tattoo removed of the devil that she had on her, and that she'd been in church and she got baptized. How we know all of that, but we don't know that you've been in school. We just know that you got a degree. So I was like, oh, it's an honorary degree. And then I looked into it. So I started looking into it, and I followed the same kind of trail of, okay, first let me look at the school. Next, let me look at, is it accredited? And it said it's accredited. And I was like, bahoo. And then that's where that kind of trail went. And then I wanted to know, evangelical. Oh, so it's not a degree in theology. The school is called whatever, theological, whatever. So my dad is a writer. So, sometimes we can't know everything. And I had a very, very full, busy day today. So I couldn't, spend all my time going down a rabbit hole on this. So I called my daddy and I asked him about this. Because he's written on religion. So he studied this a lot. And he said that this actually started in like the 70s when people involved in the churches, they realized that we could just start a school and then we can make a lot more money. So basically, if you get the accreditation, heck, y'all probably remember from in law school when the ABA would come to make sure that your school can keep its accreditation. Like the
ABA is who accreditates accredited law schools.
Yeah. So the American Bar Association, a school isn't just accredited forever. Like they have to maintain certain things. So everyone has to be on their P's and Q's when the ABA coming in because they got to keep it together. So they couldn't get accredited. So what they do, they started creating their own accreditation committees or whatever. And that's what the evangelical whatever accreditation. So the geteducated.com, they actually said that it's basically a BS like accreditation. So
no, absolutely. And I feel like I don't want to take away from Black China and her growth and what she's trying to do. I support that and I encourage that. Honestly, when I saw this, when I found out it was, they charged her $10,000. See, with an honorary degree, that is free. You don't pay a dime. They should have given her an honorary degree because Lord knows we now know about this little institution that literally is in the parking lot with the Boost Mobile. It is in a Boost Mobile shopping. No, I'm not kidding, guys.
Oh, you for real? That's crazy. That's crazy.
This is it. This is where we're at. Okay, there's a Boost. That's the Boost Mobile right there, guys. That was just wrong. That was ugly. And obviously they came to her house to give her the degree, which says to me, she had no idea that her doctorate university is in a Boost Mobile parking lot. She had no idea. Shame on them. Shame on them. And in addition, I felt like they took advantage of her. So I'm happy for her, but I just thought, shame on them for taking her money like that. Hopefully they comped it.
Now,
But
the degree is $10K, but did she actually pay the $10K or did they just give it to her as a gift?
to her. So
I'm hoping they just gave
that's not clear. Y'all like that Boost Mobile receipt I had there. I was looking because I was like, let me see what this school looks like. I put that in there. I said, oh my God, this school is on top of the Boost Mobile. It's a
I
little
will say though, they do hire from within because the president has 2 doctorates. But guess where they from? They from that school.
I wonder what she's doing with her branding. I don't think she paid for this. I doubt that she paid for it. I doubt she paid for it. But what I wonder is why. What is the direction, or what? I guess what is she using this for? Because she is a public figure.
What she said was, this education is helping her. She wants to be a better mom. She wants to be a better businesswoman, and she wants to boss up and have opportunities outside of selling her body on OnlyFans, which is admirable. But I want to ask you guys, I want your opinion. Tell me if do you think she may have been taken advantage of by this university, or do you think she knew it was a fake degree? The reason I say that is at first I was just like, shame on them. But then I was reading articles and I forgot about how she had told everybody she was going to Harvard. And I don't know if y'all remember the whole Harvard debacle, but she literally faked getting accepted to Harvard and Harvard Business School. So we know now, I went to Cornell Law, and many of the Ivies, including Cornell, they have like online programs that you can do, and people of course will pay a premium to say, oh, I got a certificate or I took a class there, but there's no acceptance process. Like nobody gets rejected. So in this case, I'm going to adjust the thing. So with the scam with the Black China situation with Harvard, so she actually she went online, she said she had been accepted to Harvard and how excited she was, and then here we go. And then TMZ did some research, called up Harvard, and they found out Harvard said, despite her claims, reps from Harvard said she has not been accepted. In addition, they said China's team provided a fake admissions letter to TMZ. And that letter initially reported that she'd be taking a course on business analytics. However, when approached for further comment, China seemingly acknowledged that she hadn't been accepted yet, but that she hopes to be in the future, saying Harvard was a step in the right direction for her life and career. She said, where I'm at now is a stage of realization and growth. I want to be great for myself and my kids. So you got to start with not lying. School's going to help me take things up a notch. Oh, and this is my favorite part. It says TMZ also unearthed emails between China and her publicist, Christian, who offered to complete the degree for China for only a mere $1,000 a class. That sounds like a steal, actually. And in the email, her publicist said to her, our team will complete all the coursework for you. All you have to do is take one test. We'll give you the study guide, and then you can take credit for the program. One proposition read, and there was also a social media component, her publicist stated, that said you can go to the Harvard campus and take a picture with a Harvard hoodie on, and you can post updates on your Snapchat and Instagram, all with you on that campus. So how wonderful is that blessing?
When was this? Time frame
I'm going back to the article. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Let's see.
I think it said 2019.
Yeah, 19. So that would be 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, April of 2019.
So
Yes.
4 years ago. So she had
4 years ago.
Time to figure this out. She knows. She knew then that what the difference between admitted, because there's a process. Like she knows, and she knows now that it would give off the impression that she put in some work to get this doctorate, and that's why I don't like these schools creating a school without the proper qualifications and then creating accreditation to give the impression to someone who may not know what that really means. It's like when you say we're the best, barbecue restaurant in town. Who said it? I could say it, and then it's fact. Like it just gives off an impression, and then it has people being able to say, oh, I have a doctorate in da 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 da, and they do, but no one it doesn't give that same backing that someone from like an accredited state university or private, university that has the proper accreditation and has checked all the boxes and is in line with what they're teaching in the curriculum, so that when someone says they have a doctorate or PhD in this, then you can expect certain things from them. So people are just gonna, like that guy that was pretending to be a doctor. Remember him?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So didn't Kim K get the same type of degree? Good question. No, Kim K, at least China is trying to get a degree. Kim K has not, never has. So California is one of the few states that allows you to sit for the California bar without ever having gone to college. Actually, what?
I thought it was the only. There's another state.
I think there might be one other.
I want to say, and I haven't fact checked this, but South Dakota might be the other one.
Yeah, it's someplace nobody cares about.
Right.
Who want to go to South Dakota? Okay.
Right.
Nobody. But interestingly, y'all, that's part of why the California bar passage rate is the lowest in America. It's not because it's that much harder. So it's about 49% versus Texas and New York are each in the 80s, like 88%. But California is 49% rate to pass the bar. And that's because you have inmates taking the bar. Literally, there's a ton. When I was in law school and I did death penalty clinic, literally you would have inmates that would study all day because they were on death row or whatever, had nothing to do. And then they would just keep taking the bar until they passed. And then some of them, when they'd get out, they'd hang their shingle and they would practice law because they've got that firsthand view. So, yeah.
To clarify, there are 4 states. The state of Washington, Vermont, California, and Virginia are the only 4 states where you can take the bar exam without completing law school.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So just to like make sure that part of it is clear, because it's like you're challenging the test. So we all went to school for 3 years and then we studied and then we took a bar exam either 2 days or 3 days. And in California, like that, the Juris Doctorate degree is a prerequisite to be able to sit for the bar in every other state except for those. If you don't have it, then you can challenge the bar. But in California, don't you have to take the initial qualifying exam and then do an apprenticeship underneath an attorney and then take the bar? Like you can't just go in and take the bar exam, right?
Correct. No, there isn't. Yeah, you're right. There's an apprenticeship year. And for most of the states, I can't speak of all of them, but yeah, for most of them.
Quicker than going to law school and much cheaper, but
definitely cheaper.
You don't know nothing. You didn't like.
You don't. Oh
no.
So at Cornell, I had a classmate. So law school is 3 years, y'all. So you have 2 summers, and generally you try to get a law firm paid internship with a big firm your first summer because they pay like $4,000 a week. It's ignorant. And this guy, he didn't get one of those. So he said, you know what? He's from California. He knew he wanted to go back to Cali. So he literally sat for the bar after his first year of law school, passed that bad boy. And then he literally had 2 more years to basically kick it. Oh. Yeah. So that was really smart of him because at that point, firms didn't really care about his grades because he passed. Yeah. He passed. Yeah. Oh, so and the last fun fact I want to give about Reverend Dr. Benjamin. Oh, I got to go back. Reverend Dr. Benjamin. We got Benjamin Jimerson. In addition to doing this, Prince movie, so basically he gave Black China this PhD degree, this doctorate degree in exchange for her investing in his Prince movie. His other claim to fame is that he is the bastard son of Bishop J.O. Patterson Sr., the founder of the Church of God in Christ, according to him. And his website is actually dedicated to both his movies and convincing everyone that this is, in fact, his daddy. And so before we change topics, I just wanted to show you guys a picture. That he the pappy.
Oh, wait, that's his daddy next to him?
That is his daddy next to him.
Allegedly. That boy Pappy. That's that boy Pappy. Yes, sir.
Right.
I don't think he the daddy.
Girl,
that's true.
They got different noses. They got different mouths.
Oh, they just light skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she might have a type. Mm-hmm.
That nose, I don't know. I see the same person.
I see the same person. I see same mouth, same nose, same ears, same face shape.
No, the guy, the black and white
like curves down a little bit.
What's that? You said what?
I said even the way his mouth kind of curves
Oh.
down a little bit, how he smells, like that's the daddy.
You think so too? Well, I just remember I love that my mom always used to say, you can't go by looks because you got to see what all the candidates look like.
Yeah. And the mom.
Sometimes girl and the mama, because sometimes ladies have a type. That is true. So I just thought that was just very strange. When I went to his website looking for like more information on his academic pursuits, it was actually dedicated to him asking, the Church of God in Christ to acknowledge him as the side baby of the bishop.
Sad. That's kind of sad.
That sucks. Yeah. Any advice for him there, Kyra, as the family attorney?
Honestly, if I was just thinking about this, if he's making claims that he is the son of J.O. Patterson Sr., and the estate or the family of J.O. Patterson disagrees with that, he might get sued for defamation, perhaps. I don't know.
That could be. Can you? Yeah, I don't know if you get sued for defamation for a dead person, but maybe the estate could.
On the estate side, though, if he had a will or did not have a will, depending on if his will also included unknown children, or if he did not have a will, then those heirs are determined based on bloodline. Then he might have some rights to that estate if he can actually do a blood test with other family members and prove that is his father.
Right.
I was going to ask that.
I think he should.
I have a question though for you, Kyra. Now, obviously you practice in Texas, but is there a statute of limitations? Is there a limit for how long you can, like, for when you can ask somebody to have to be forced to take a DNA test?
There's not a statute of limitations. There's a statute of limitations only when there is a presumed father. So if a woman was married and had a child with another man, then yes, there is a statute of limitations because there is a presumed father. The Texas Family Code says when there is a presumed father, the mother has 4 years to claim paternity for another person. Otherwise, they're barred. But if there is no presumed father, meaning she was not married and the alleged father was not married, there is no statute of limitations.
Does that matter?
Could you then force your potential daddy to take a paternity test at like 70 years old if you want to know who your daddy is?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, we're going to talk about that next week because that's what Jerry Jones is going through. Natasha?
I was just wondering, so I know the presumption if, the child is born into a marriage, but what if the child is born essentially out of wedlock, but someone signed the birth certificate? Does that presumption stick in Texas?
It's not. Okay, that's a good question. So if they're not married and not just birth certificate, but an acknowledgement of paternity, there is a presumed father. So not merely birth certificate. It has to be an acknowledgement of paternity, which is different than a birth certificate. And if that is signed, I know y'all hear my kids. If there is an AOP, then yes, there is a presumed father. So that's a good question, Natasha.
Okay, gotcha. Minimize this. Oh shoot, where'd my screen? Okay, so next up, let's change topics. We're going to talk about Tamika and LaTocha. Raise your hand, give a like. Oh, also guys, like and subscribe if you haven't already. But raise your hand if you're sick of hearing about this. If they're not going to do anything about it. So, guys, this is the situation of escape members and sisters, Tamika and LaTocha. Most recently on an episode of Bravo's show, which has SWV and Escape, Tamika confronted her sister, LaTocha, about stealing her royalties for years. Not just stealing them, but LaTocha's husband, Rocky, forged the signature on the back of them, signed them. Tamika even said she had to pay taxes on this money, which is over $30,000. Her and Tamika's mom wants her to just drop it. But Tamika feels that she doesn't want to simply drop it anymore due to the fact that she hasn't even gotten an apology and her sister keeps lying. So the question on the floor, do you feel it's wrong to sue relatives? Would you sue your relative in this situation?
In a heartbeat.
That'll do it.
I think that was a rhetorical question.
What? If
I sure would too.
I sue my family member. I sue your family member. Your family, anybody family member. Anybody could get it.
But my question is, because this happened years ago, right?
Yeah, I don't think she can do
it. Yeah. Someone asked, can a DA pick this up and press charges? So there are statute of limitations both for criminal offenses and civil. And apparently this happened like more than 10 years ago. So that's likely going to mean the statute of limitations has definitely passed. For most criminal offenses, it's generally about 5 years unless it's some type of an essay. Go ahead.
Well, I looked it up and it said that if it's a misdemeanor theft, because all this is theft from what I know. Right. So if it's a misdemeanor theft, then I think it's 2. But if it's felony, then it's 4. So either way, like the article that I read, I haven't been on social media recently, so I'm not tired of this.
I don't blame you.
It's like I wouldn't have either. Radio. Like I don't get sick of the songs because I'll be listening to the radio. But from what I read, they weren't really saying the date, but it said like in the 2000s, but you could tell it wasn't like the past 4 or 5 years. It seems like it's old. Right. And what my question was, and I didn't have time, and I don't know if any of y'all would know, but just in general, because for some civil matters, the statute will not run until the person knew or reasonably should have known whatever the, triggering incident was. So I'm wondering in her case, if like not 10 years, but let's say it was like just a year or 2 off, if there would be something to attach to it to say that she reasonably did not find out until, whatever. But she was doing her taxes, wasn't she? Like, how did she not know about this?
She was.
So, yeah. Go ahead, Kyra.
She had receipts if she was showing text messages of, you know what I'm saying, whenever it was going down. So it comes across as if she knew then. So she doesn't have any legal standing to try to raise a claim now. I don't even know why she's trying to bring up a social claim, because if you didn't say anything then are you just trying to say something now to get a storyline? Because you have no legal standing. And I'm so tired of hearing about it. I don't care.
Well, it also may have been that this may have felt like icing on the cake, because recently it was revealed that Rocky, so her sister's husband, Rocky, is a manager, and he seems to be like a very shady manager. But it was revealed that he was skimming off the top. Basically, he was getting kickbacks from promoters in exchange for getting Escape to sign contracts to perform. So like he would get $20,000 from a promoter to get them to do a show. And of course, that money should have belonged to the girls. His wife knew about it, according to the allegations, and didn't say anything there either. So she might have felt like, here we go. My sister is doing this stuff again. I let you slide the first time because mama told me to, and I'm about sick of your behind. But speaking of that, so someone had said, listen, in total, she was out $46,000. I would be suing. I need my coins. And someone else mentioned, well, wouldn't she know because of taxes? Okay, so we all know our government is very raggedy. They are raggedy and they're delayed. And so what happens a lot of times they don't catch up on even notifying you of underpayment or back underpayment of taxes, etc. Sometimes it could be 2-3 years. And so by the time you've gotten that, it could be a while. Although, as we said, the discovery rule starts once you discover the fraud. And it definitely applies when it's a fraudulent situation, because the whole point of fraud is hiding it from you. But I wanted to talk about, because I know, especially in our community, in the Black community, a lot of us don't want to sue our parents. I went to college with a girl whose parents ruined her credit because they took out light bills and electricity bills and all kind of things in her name when she was a kid. And when she graduated college, tried to get an apartment, she couldn't because her credit was shot. And they told her the only way to get it cleared is she would have had to press charges. I believe it was against her mom, and she didn't want to do that. Well, tax time is coming. So I want to let you guys know of a little trick that I have encouraged clients to use in the past. If somebody owes you money and you want your money, but maybe either you don't feel like you can sue, like if you sue, they're still not going to pay you or what have you. One option, and I don't know if you guys have ever had your clients do this, is you can actually complete what's called a 1099, right? 1099s are for you to say, I either gave this person my money or this person has my money, right? And then they end up having to pay taxes on that money. So what I would have done if I wasn't going to file suit, I would have gave old girl a 1099. It's called a 1099 SEC. And hold on, I'm going to show you guys this. The cool thing about it's for a 1099 SEC. So if you're ever in a situation where somebody owes you money, here's a tip. What you can do, download the 1099 and email them a letter that goes with it. You're going to complete it. And you're going to say, look, you owe me this money. And you may not take me seriously, but the IRS will audit your behind and take you to jail. So here are your choices. You can run me my coins by X date, or I will be filing this 1099 with the IRS, informing them that you have my money. I actually did this with a contractor who ran off on the plug. He ran off with my stuff. He ran off with a buku supplies and stuff like that. And he was like ignoring my calls. Baby, I hit him with that because he was already on probation. He ain't trying to get arrested no more. And he gave me my money. So the 1099 is for freelance work. It's for contract work. So if you pay a contract worker, for example, to do something for you, like fix up your house, right? And they take your supplies or they don't finish and keep your money, this is what you file. They have to pay taxes on it. And if she does that, if Tamika were to do that, and you can also do that for past years, although you're supposed to get it submitted by January 31st of the year. But Tamika could do this, and Tasha will then have to answer to the feds. Y'all give me your thoughts below on if you might try this for anybody who owes you anything. All right, let me check real quick with my with our special guest to see if they're about ready. And then we've got like one more. Okay, gotcha. And I don't have access to my phone, but Kyra, you have, I don't want to say her name. But you have access. Oh, you don't know. Never mind. Who the guest is. I was like, I can't say her name. She's anonymous. But all right. So while I'm trying to confirm our special guest for On the Record is ready, let's do the next one. The next one is.
Simone, I just want to add one thing about the LaTocha and Tamika thing. My finger's on mute, so I was like talking to myself. But I think she could potentially have a civil claim if in those text messages her sister indicated at any point within the past 4 years that she was going to pay her back. So then that could like basically restart the statute of limitations because that's another agreement. So if she said, I'm going to pay you back, and then 3 years later, she's like, I'm not going to pay you back, then that could be an agreement between them and then she could sue for that. So
good point. Yep. And in many
she was going to pay me back because she's claiming that she doesn't know where the money is coming from. She's still playing. She's playing like.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, I was going to say, yeah, no, also that makes sense. In many states, if you owe a debt, like in the statute of limitations has passed, but you start making payments on that debt, like if you make a payment, it can revive the debt. So don't do that. Make sure you know before you make payments.
When they call, tell them, I don't know what you're talking about. Who, what day?
Right. All right. So next up is we got real quickly. So Tennessee has passed this bathroom bill. Oh, sorry, Kansas has passed this bathroom bill. I'm going to, you know what I mean. Tennessee, Kansas, they're all racist. So passed this sweeping bathroom bill targeting transgender people, not just kids, right? Because before it was supposed to be a bill for children's schools. This one says the new bill requires them to use the bathroom that aligns with the sex they were born with. And it also prevents them from altering the name or the gender on their driver's license. It seemed that the driver's license portion, that seemed to really kind of go a little too far, just because, like, I don't care what you want to be called. Like Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. Your mama called you Cassius, I'm calling you Cassius. Okay, you want to be Muhammad Ali, whatever. Calling you a different name, that doesn't hurt anybody. But I recently learned, guys, and when it comes to a lot of this queer stuff, I'm a little new. I'm a little slow with, understanding it. But I recently learned that I always thought transgender meant you switched your body parts. Like it was a full-on transition, like you transition. But I have recently learned that there's like two types. There's like, the premium model, and then there's like the basic. The one that still has their ding-a-ling and the one that doesn't. And so with that understanding, how do you guys feel about dinglings in the ladies' locker room? That's what I wanted to ask. This is a real question, by the way.
So I will say I too, in having a conversation with someone of the LGBTQ community, because I thought that there was a difference between transsexual and transgender, and that one had, identified as the other, and the other one actually had sex change. But no, apparently they are all the same. As far as the ladies' room, if you go in a stall, I don't know what you have going on. So
Yep.
I really don't care. My only preference is that if you do have a penis, that can you just make sure you aim in the toilet and don't leave a mess. But once you go in that stall, I don't know what you have. I'm not gonna lie. There's some people that are transgender, and I guess they have breast implants and maybe take hormones for facial structure changing, but still have male genitalia. And without knowing they have male genitalia, they look like women. They look more like a woman than I do.
Right.
So I wouldn't know if I'm not in the stall with you what you have going on. So it really doesn't make me a difference. But bathroom.
Yeah. I generally didn't either. But I actually had read. I was trying to find the article. I can't, and we need to move along. But I read an article about Leah Neal. She's a transgender swimmer. She swims for, I believe it was Stanford. She never placed when she was on the men's side. During college she transitioned, has become a woman, and is number one now in the nation. She's beat Olympians, etc. But in the article, her female teammates, were saying that they feel that her needs and her comfort has been put at the forefront at the expense of their own, because they talked about basically she has not completed her transition. And when you're in a locker room, when you're on a team like swimming, you're taking your clothes off, you're changing. And they talked about how uncomfortable they were the first time they saw her man part.
And that's different, because it's one thing to go into a private stall where you're in your space and you're not exposed to anyone. But I have an issue as a prior college athlete with people who are men participating in women's sports because of how they identify, because that shit just ain't fair. Excuse my language, but I passionately do not agree with that for various reasons. It's just not fair. And that I do agree with that if he or she does still have male genitalia and you're in the locker room and you're walking around that space, and that is where you're supposed to, like, you just had a game, you're supposed to be comfortable, you're supposed to be kind of winding down or doing whatever, and to see somebody walking around with that is a little bit awkward. So to make everyone else uncomfortable at the decency of that person who is physically still a male, that part I don't agree with. I'm cool with you going into a private stall where there is a sense of privacy, but outside of that, I mean, people can be mad at me for that, but I don't agree with that.
And Heal Together has made the good point. They can still get people pregnant. That's true. If you haven't made the transition, I just feel like there should be different treatment for those who have completely transitioned and those who haven't, because at the end of the day, I feel like with people nowadays, we want all the options, but none of the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna, if you want to dress as a woman but have male parts, there are going to be consequences for that. You don't get all of the things that come with being a woman, and you don't get all of the things that come with being a man. So there has to be some give and take, it seems there. Let me go ahead and move on to our final topic before we add our guest, which this was really interesting to me, y'all. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of this concept before. So it was Forbes magazine. Here we go. Here we go. There we go. All right. So this is called, let me know if you've heard of this. It's called imposter guardianship. Now, beforehand, I made sure to share this with Kyra because of the fact that she is a family attorney. But let me know in the comments if you guys have ever heard of this. I heard about this a few years ago. I actually thought it was brilliant, it was clever, and it was trifling all in one. So what this is rich families have found a loophole with the FAFSA. So we all know that with the FAFSA, the people that get the most money are the students that are considered independent. Otherwise, they factor your parents' income when they determine how much financial aid that you're eligible for. And not only do they do that, but they also consider the income of any adults in your household. So if your parents are divorced and remarried, you are penalized for that, because those are 4 incomes that are supposed to be expected to potentially contribute to you going to college. That is ridiculous. So what some wealthy families have done to get around it is the FAFSA defines independent student basically in 2 ways. One is if you're over a certain age, which I believe is like 24 years old, or if you're in the military is another one, or if you're married. And then thirdly is if you are here, I'm going to actually put this on the screen. It's if you are if you have a legal guardian. That he is definitely not who we want. Hold on. Wait.
It was kind of fitting.
Yeah. It's if you have I thought there was 2 of those. Whatever. It's if you have a legal guardian. I have the definition. But with the article, with the article, it's about all they're doing, these rich families are doing, is they are getting attorneys, family law attorneys, whichever kind of attorneys, to basically complete documents that say, my friend or their grandma or whoever is the guardian of the child, not me. And therefore, simply by virtue of them having a guardian other than their parent, they're an independent student and they get unlimited financial aid, including now at schools like Harvard and Cornell and those schools. If you are an independent student, right, and your parents are not calculated in there, you get 100% grant. You don't have to pay for books. You don't have to pay for food in the dorm, housing, nothing. So do you guys think, oh God, I need to take the dingling question off. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Somebody should have told me. So the question is, do you think it's unethical to use the guardianship system for financial aid? And then as an attorney, would you do this for a student? Those of you guys who are watching as parents, would you, if you could do it, would you want to? Because I'm going to tell you, school is expensive. It's so expensive. It's so unreasonable that a lot of middle-class families are really falling in between the cracks. So this is more so, my question is more so about middle-class families, not the wealthy ones. What do you guys think?
And so, Simone, like we discussed, what I want to know is, what are the terms of guardianship? Because if guardianship
None.
that this person has primary care, custody, and control of the child, then that's fraudulent if their parents still have primary care, custody, and control of their child, but they are designating on a document that somebody else does, when in reality that is not true, then that's fraud.
So I have to, let me see. I'll pull up the definition again from the FAFSA, but it was wild because here we go. I have it over here.
And Simone, I think they're thinking about changing that because I don't think it currently does just say guardianship, but they're changing that, or they're proposing to change it so that in addition to guardianship, you also your child cannot be on your medical benefits or insurance, and you also cannot file for them or claim them on your taxes, or anything in that nature. So they have gotten wind of this, and they are adding additional stipulations to cover this kind of gap.
Yeah, so the definition here, according to the FAFSA, the way that they defined it is simply if you have a legal guardian who is not a biological parent and deemed as such by a court, you will be considered independent. So as long as the court says it, that's fine. And y'all, this is instead of, when I spoke with Kyra about it as well, we've all heard of emancipation, right? Macaulay Culkin emancipated himself. Now, emancipation is a hard thing to get approved because the child must show that they can financially take care of themselves. But with guardianship, not only do you not have to show that the kid can take care of themselves, in fact, by virtue of you having a guardian, it says that you can't take care of yourself and that you need someone else, but the birth parent can still carry you on their health insurance, and this guardianship be in place, and the kid then get complete benefits of independent student status. So as
Luis Montez in the comments said, what's unethical is basically the rising, expensive, outlandish cost of college tuition.
Agreed.
They're pricing the middle class and the underprivileged out of a financial education, and that's unfair. And that's the bigger issue.
That's
the
true.
greater issue.
And I will say, like, when I was in school, I was able to claim myself as a dependent and be able to use that information to get financial aid on that. They changed it with my younger sister, who was a few years younger than me, went to college, and I was confused because I was trying to have her go through FAFSA the same way, and she wasn't able to. It was like, unless you like are in the military or are married or were emancipated, you could not claim yourself as a dependent, your own dependent, even if in fact you were not being claimed under your parents or anything like that. You still have to put their information on there, and they had to support you. But the reason they did that bullshit, excuse my language, is because people were graduating and not getting jobs and not being able to pay those degrees back. Because y'all know the degrees that y'all giving ain't worth 2 nickels.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying? The debt to ratio and what people can actually afford once they graduate did not match. So then you're trying to make their parents accountable instead of fixing the problem, which was the cost of education and the value associated with it.
And they're not going to do that anytime soon, because the way that, the cost of state schools is controlled by lobbyists. Lobbyists feel that they get reelected by giving schools everything that they want, and they do not want to be on the bad side of schools, especially big ones like Texas A&M or Tennessee. Now, I want to make sure I answer this, respond to this. Refined Queen stated, I won't be able to claim my daughter on my taxes if she goes as an independent student. I see so many parents saying that. But let me tell you this. You're right. However, if she gets into a school like, let's say, Rice University in Houston, it would be free. So you would be saving $62,000 a year. So I think that'd be okay. You may not get your, $7,000 or $8,000 tax deduction, but you'd be getting $62,000 a year. A lot of people don't know, by the way, that Rice University is free for all students whose students whose parents make under $200,000 get have to pay no more than half of the tuition. If your parents make under, I want to say $160,000, you only have to pay like $5,000 a year. It's something obnoxious, like obnoxiously low, very, very low.
Wow.
So yeah, you definitely want to keep that in mind. I think honestly, I feel like, with let me explain, the way that wealthy families were able to, that they got caught was because one of the students got into like a Harvard or Yale, one of those. All Ivy League schools meet 100% of your need. So that means their financial aid package was 100% met. And Ivy Leagues do not give merit-based, right? So one of these really wealthy schools saw that a student who they knew came from wealthy parents, extremely wealthy parents, got invited to a low-income student day and was like, why are they invited to that? And then looked into it and saw that there were 14 different families at that school who all did the same strategy, right? And they learned about it because they were all using the same company to help their kids get into college. It's one of those that does their essays and, coaches them and, coaches them through the process. And so that's how they got found out. But this article was in 2019, y'all. I checked the law. The law has not changed at all. I also spoke with a contact that I have who is the chair. She's the president of an organization that's Association of Universities. And she wasn't familiar with that and thought that it was wild. She was only familiar with parents emancipating their child. So if you got kids that are in high school or college, I think, after 18 is probably not possible, but it's something to think about when you're in college. If you have a college age kid. Any last words on that, y'all, before we welcome our, welcome Anonymous?
If it's something that's available, then, I do advise everybody take advantage of it, regardless of, I know we look at what the wealthy do. So if they're getting by and scapegoating with it, then take advantage of that outlet. Like somebody said, a win is a win. So if they could do it,
right,
go for it too. But don't just be giving anybody guardianship over your kids.
Right.
Make sure that it is somebody that you trust.
True. Yeah, I would give it to you, Kyra. Yay. Yes. Because I'm not trying to pay for school. And in our family, my parents said, we pay for private school K through 12. Y'all got to do the rest. So we did. Okay. All right. So now it's for my favorite part. Well, I think it's going to be my favorite part. It's my first time trying it. But this is on the record. All right, let's switch this up. Okay, let me switch this up, guys. Get ready and need the manners. Oops. All right, so I'm going to pull up the question. Bring in Anonymous. Hey, Anonymous. Up, you're on mute. Thank you so
Okay.
much for being patient with us tonight. We know it's late. We are at the 1 hour mark. Generally, I'm gonna try to keep these under an hour, but you guys, this was just really fun and our first time. So, Anonymous, I'm gonna add your question to the screen. Now, she is intentionally, we're not using her name. We're gonna call her Anonymous. And what is it on there? We're not using her name, and we are not going to give the name of the person that she's asked us to look into. I'm going to probably give him a nickname. But first off, to start, I'm going to read your question. I'm going to read it off, and then you can let me know if I missed anything. So you wrote in, I recently began a whirlwind romance with this amazing guy, and I just want to make sure he's not too good to be true. We've only been dating 3 months, but he's already asked me to move in. Well, he wants to move into my house. Okay. Yeah, that is what they do. You probably have the better house, or he's questionable. We'll find out. You said, I have 2 big kids who are away at college and a daughter in high school. So before I merge our lives, could you look into whether he's generally who he says that he is, and let me know if I see anything in his background I should be concerned about, anything financial, anything criminal, any evictions, etc. Okay. And then the facts about him that were relevant: he's a divorced dad with 3 kids from his marriage. He owns his own business, which is in the medical industry, and he owns a home. I shouldn't put. He owns a home, and he's about 45 years old. Does that sound about right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, so, all right. Now, does he know that you're doing this?
So inadvertently, he does know that I'm doing this. Not really. So I've told him previously that we should get background checks on each other. So we have transparency. However, he kind of laughed about it, and that made me a little nervous. So I know he's had a tough life and he's lived in New Orleans, so I just felt compelled.
So he probably gonna have something on there, but if it's older, then if it's older, then that's not necessarily a big deal, etc., etc. So before we get started, I'm going to give you guys a full disclaimer on how I do these. So beforehand, the viewer has to agree that this is not for stalking. I also mask all identifying information, such as I don't give that person's social security information or anything like that. I actually received from her beforehand the person's name and date of birth. Now, I don't dox, again, so I don't give out people's information, but I do go to public documents. I look at what those public documents have and use those. So, the last time I did this, someone was like, oh, she's violating her legal oath. No, I am not stupid. I'm probably smarter than that person that said that stupid thing. So I, of course, use my different softwares that are both available to the public. And none of this is secret. I also want to encourage you guys to do this when you feel like it's necessary. What's interesting is some men feel like they would rather you tell them in advance. And then some don't want you to do it at all. So, all right, let's get going. So also I want to let you know, we, as a disclaimer, we never know how accurate records are. So throughout this, I'm going to repeat and state that someone with his name and date of birth, was found with records that XYZ. Make sense? Okay. So here we go. So what I started with is basically, what would I want to know if I was moving in with someone? My fiance and I, we did this. We exchanged background checks. We exchanged credit reports. So to start with, he is 45. He's got the 3 kids.
Yeah.
All right. I want you to lean in with me.
Okay.
How many kids?
3.
Okay. So what this is, and he's lived in Dallas, correct?
That's correct.
So I just did a public search. This column that says grantee is his name over and over again.
Okay.
And if you look under doc type on the right, you see The first one is abstract of judgment. That means he owed somebody some money. They won in court and they filed this so that they can collect. That means that any money that he has in a bank account up to the amount he owes that person, which I believe is over $5,000, they can seize that account. That means if you open a bank account with him, because he has not satisfied this abstract of judgment, they will take your money.
Oh,
take your paycheck. They will take whatever's up to that amount. Oh, and by the way, this you see the date, recorded date 9/1/2015.
Uh-huh.
And it was 5,000 back then. It accrues interest at about 6% a year. Okay.
I'm not a mathematician, but that doesn't sound.
It could be up to about 9,000 or so. So again, what that means, any given day, this person, if she wants to, could do a garnishment to any bank account that have his name on it. So again, this means at a minimum, until he gets that satisfied, you guys could never merge bank accounts or money, period. Okay.
So they're coming for me, essentially.
They could. But this was my bigger issue. I then, below that first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 child support liens.
So are these extra children? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Oh.
You gave me the name of his 3 children, and you said that they were with his ex-wife. I also searched. I did not see any records that any man with that name and birthday was married in either Dallas County, Texas, or the Louisiana parish that he told you that he's from.
So these are.
So here's what that means. I don't think he's married today. I'm not saying that. I don't think he's ever been. I think that was his baby mama that he had the 3 kids with. That's fine. Or they may have been common law. That's fine. But what I have seen, and I've opened up each of these documents, okay? So, and I will give those to you because they're public documents.
Oh my God.
Each of these are for different mothers.
Oh my God.
Some are for multiple kids.
This has to be a joke. Like,
no, it's not. And let's look at these dates. So get your who's good with. Wait, did Natasha have to go?
Yeah, I think she peaced out on us.
Okay, I understand. All right. Can either of you guys pull out a calculator? Kyra, could you pull out a calculator? I just want to. Okay, you got one real quick. All right. So let's just add this up, because these were the numbers that I had when I opened up the actual documents. We had so the first one is a Mrs. Smith that was in 2020. Yep, the 10.5. Okay, that's a Mrs. Smith. In 2020, he owed her $10,300.
Oh my God.
That number just keeps growing, right, Kyra? When you don't pay that.
Yeah, it does. It has interest, 6% interest.
6% interest. And then as the kid keeps living and existing, there are more months that you would owe for potentially, right? Or no?
Right. If they're still under the age of 18.
Got it.
Oh my God.
What's the number? What's the amount?
10,300.
Okay.
All right. This next one below that, the 2011 date, 423. Huh? That 2011 date.
Natasha said she's backstage trying to get in. She's
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. Let me add her back in. Yeah. Just breathe, girl. Just breathe.
How many children is this?
So the answer to that is I can't tell you the number. This does not include the 3 children that you're aware of, because that woman. No, I'm serious. Because that woman that he calls as his ex-wife, she has not put him on child support, from what I have seen.
Oh my God.
That's probably why they have this ex-wife, ex-husband kind of dynamic. Do they seem to like get along, and he sees kid kind of regularly, kind of thing?
It's amicable, amicable.
Yeah, that's probably because she has not put him on child support. So those are 3 additional kids. So
oh my God.
All right. So this second person, so Karen, since you got the calculator, I'm gonna just go through the numbers and then we're gonna talk about it together. The second number is this is a Mrs. Miller. Of course, I'm not giving nobody's first name. Mrs. Miller, she's in a small little country town, bless her heart. $23,606 is what was owed in 2011. Again, it continues to accrue interest. All right. Next up is a Mrs. Davis in Louisiana. That next one is $7,921.97. Okay.
This is just it's just getting. I don't.
Okay, almost done. Yeah, we're almost done. And again, this is another mother. I don't know how many children. And I'm going to tell you why I'm not certain about that. Then after that one, the woman below that is a Mrs. Davis. Miss Davis is owed $7,286.93. Okay. And then the woman after that is a Mrs. Houston. So she doesn't live in Houston. She is a Mrs. Houston. And she is owed, let me get that number. Hold on. $75.56.69. That's Miss Houston. I'm sorry. No, let me correct that number. No, that's correct. And then the last one is, I think it's a Mrs. Freeman. And Mrs. Freeman is $4,400. Looks like, yeah, $4,400. All right. What does that total to?
Oh, Jesus.
That is.
Oh, wait, one more. There's $10,430 to a Mrs. Cole in Missouri City.
Okay, hold on.
So, and some of these are Louisiana. So he's got kids in Texas, in Louisiana, which is Orleans Parish specifically is what it says. Missouri City, which is Houston, Dallas. And
that's $67,000.
Okay. Now that was what it was in like 2011, and it's now accruing interest, so it's over 100,000 at this point.
Oh my God!
It's over 100,000, and then, however, I do have good news.
There's no good news.
These last two, the release of child support, that means he's paid. He paid the attorney general on between those. And notice, oops, let me pull that down. Oh well. Okay. I forgot. I skipped a step. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, well. Okay. It's a public document. All right. And then the last two, it's a release of judgment, which means that I literally don't care at this point. He's a horrible human being. And I actually went over to the public. Because you guys saw the records. Did you not? Women, would you want to be warned? So the last two, what a release of judgment means is that just means he paid that child support, right, Kyra?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that number is for those two. A lot of times and you saw that both of those were on the same date, he doesn't seem like just a great benevolent person. More than likely what happened is he came into some money, either a tax return or perhaps like a personal injury settlement or something. It could even be a goddamn scratch off. You're not entitled to any of that until like that money goes first to your child support, right? Right, Kyra?
Right.
Yeah, your child support liens. All right, so we got that. And then in conclusion, I did do his criminal record. Evictions and stuff. Of course he had that on there. Oh, you also said he's a homeowner. I pulled that up. He doesn't own the home. His daddy does. They have the same name. They have the same name. So that's his daddy's house. Is it a little bit raggedy? In Louisiana, it's a little raggedy.
Apparently, I mean,
does it look like an older person? Did he say he's flipping it? That's usually what they try to say. Oh, I'm gonna flip it. For my
I'll have any more drink. Next time, warn me. I'm gonna save some of my drink for this.
And I'm typically like a woman of many words, and I just have none right now.
But how long have y'all been dating before he started talking about moving in?
I'm sorry. I'm so lost right now. This is like way too much.
I think my notes say, was it about 3 months?
Yeah. It was like a whirlwind. It was just, yeah.
Did you guys meet on vacation or something?
We did. Yeah.
Great question. Somebody asked, how accurate is the information to the search, meaning with the name and date of birth? How accurate is that match? Great question. He has a very unique birthday. It's the exact birthday and the exact name. Now, he is a junior, so I was very careful to make sure I was not including any documents that, might be for his father. So that's why I definitely matched up the dates. And also when I pulled the children document, like his dad's dick don't work no more. Like those are his kids.
Ugh.
So in counting those, I think those were 5 mothers. Oh, here's the thing. So I got that number, that information. I pulled it off the thing, but I called the Texas Attorney General because I wanted to find out if this is for individual kids or mothers. And luckily I got a sister on the phone. I got a Black woman on the phone. And she was like, well, she was like, well, you had to call. She was like, are you his lawyer? I said, I'm a lawyer. I'm not his lawyer. And I was like, but I'm a lawyer. And I just want to make sure that kids in the state of Texas are not going without if this man is over here whining, dining, and collecting settlements. And the woman, she was clearly a Black lady. She was like, hold on, sis. And she was like, all right. So it's like 2 mamas in Louisiana, 3 in Texas, what I'm seeing here. And then she was like, and this is just the mothers. This is not the kids. She didn't tell me how many kids, but just know that's 5 mothers. So that's at least 5 kids, right? Plus the 3 you already know of, those are 8. Now, some of these are going to be big kids now. Some of these are going to be grown because one of them, like, it was like 2005 that, you know, that the child support was initially ordered or something. But still. And then lastly, his criminal record is definitely going to disqualify him. So I'm going to go ahead and put it. And because of this criminal record being what it is, again, so the question is how accurate with the date of birth, etc. It seems extremely accurate. And I'm going to give you this directly because, as you saw, I just got this off the county website. Hold on.
Dina say he's a hobosexual. That took me out.
Oh, for sure.
Looking for somewhere to live. That took me out.
Oh, no.
That's real though.
But it's okay. It's okay, anonymous lady. It's okay. You are protecting yourself, and that's fine.
Well, I guess that's why he laughed. I mean,
he was like joking you was on there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, now this was rejected. Oh,
he was about doing the background check.
Yeah, like in a joking way, like, you know, like we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Wait, so anonymous, are you going to reveal this information?
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Ask her about that while I pull up the final record.
You know, I would love to embarrass him at this point because I feel embarrassed.
Someone asked a great question. They're saying, can I do a detailed live where I show you exactly what websites you use to do this? Or if you want to contact an attorney. Actually, I do this nationally. So you can certainly contact my office. And I do this for people because I just feel like it's saved a lot of lives, a lot of relationships, a lot of time and money. And y'all know I love matchmaking. But yes, I would love to do one where I show you guys. And just to let you know, for tonight, child support liens, anytime you have a lien of any kind, right? Whether it's credit card payment or whatever, those are generally kept in your county records for property or for liens. You can Google and say, where are the lien records? And they'll tell you. And it's almost always online because once there is a lien, it gets filed to give everyone else notice, basically not to loan you no money, not to open no bank account with you. Because until you satisfy the lien, you basically can't get no type of loan. For example, that's where you will find if somebody has an IRS lien. That's why I love lien searches when you're dating somebody. Because if that man has an IRS lien that's not taken care of, y'all can't get a house. Y'all can't do nothing. All right. Here's the finale. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We're just going to get right in, right out. I don't think I have ever been as astonished.
So wait, there's more.
This is his criminal record. Okay. This is his criminal record. He's from New Orleans, correct? Yeah, so Orleans. Got it. So some of this was just really meager. During Katrina, we all know Trina. Like, for example, this was looting during Katrina, October of 2015. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is there. Receiving stolen property. 2005, correct. Sorry, 2005, not 15. Which was right, when Katrina had happened, when Louisiana was struggling. And if he's 45 now, he was in his early 20s then. So, we grow. However, and then he's got, he had something wrong with his license. Who cares? But he's also got a theft.
Wait. What is highlighted in red? Go back, please.
In red, this is forcible R.
Are you freaking kidding me right now?
Forcible R, yes. He was charged, the booking date is May 10th of 2005, which was pre-Katrina.
We seriously don't have to go any further.
Yep. Okay. So Ladies, this is what you have to do before you move somebody in your house. You don't have a choice. If you, I don't care if you have girls, boys, dogs. You have nieces. You have nephews. You see what I'm
Like,
saying?
I don't even want this ninja next to my plant. I'm tired.
Now, but let me be clear. Hold on. Let me be very clear, though. This is just an arrest record. Okay, he was arrested and charged for that. He did not serve any time for that. And I did see that the charges were ultimately dropped, but that was after approximately a year of him sitting in jail. Okay. Which makes sense because that is a type of offense they don't give you bail for. So you have to decide how you want to handle that.
That doesn't make this any better whatsoever. Like, I don't know if I should just cry or what. I'm tired.
No, Anonymous, don't cry.
Don't cry. I agree with the people in the comments. They're saying, like, don't give him any kind of explanation. Just walk away. Like, don't go through a list of all these things that has happened to let him explain, and just walk away from the relationship. Just walk away from him.
Yeah, this is yeah.
And if anything,
it's okay.
I would say, if anything, it reinforces your trust and your own intuition. And when you know that something's off, and you now have Simone as a resource, and take your time, don't rush into anything. Just go at your pace. Use Simone and trust your intuition. But you'll be fine, girl. We didn't even spend that much time.
Do you think that, in conclusion, I just wanted to confirm, do you think that you're going to let him know that you've discovered this? Again, when we finish, I'm going to email you all the redacted, versions of this. I think it could be dangerous. Because even if, yes, the charges were dropped for the forcible R charge, okay?
Right.
They were dropped. But that was in 2005. That was during Katrina. It doesn't mean they were dropped because he's not guilty.
Exactly. I'm like, that doesn't say he's innocent.
Remember, nobody stayed in New Orleans. It could be that the victim, moved, went to Atlanta, went to Texas, went to California, went to wherever, and said, I don't want to come back there to have to deal with this. It could be that. It could be that he is, in fact, innocent. I don't know. But the fact that you told him you were going to do a search, he had the opportunity to let you know any of this in advance. And I can guarantee he did not think you were going to find out any liens. Because usually when people search, it's not child support liens. They usually do maybe an eviction, maybe, those kind of court records. But I don't think there's anything that he could say to justify it. But
no, not at all.
Yeah, but also, go ahead.
I agree with the comments. Pam, Little Baby 254, everybody in the comments is saying it could be dangerous to confront him. Do not confront him.
Yeah.
You do not owe him an explanation. You don't owe him anything.
Yeah.
Walk away without an explanation. If you need to change your number, do that.
Most definitely. Like,
you don't owe him anything. You barely even just met him. You don't owe him anything. Don't do any explaining. It could be dangerous. You don't know this man. Just walk away.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
cut him off.
I have a question though. But do y'all think, don't give him an explanation, but do you think she should cut ties and not just ghost him? Because I don't want him showing up at her house being like, I've been calling you, why you haven't been answering.
Good point.
I would say at least cut it off and say, you know what? I'm not, even if you blame it on yourself, I'm not in the space right now. I can work on me or something, but break it off with him and do a clean break before. Because again, the criminal record, when it was just the child support stuff, okay, hi, he. But now that there's criminal record involved, that does concern me with his behavior. So I do not want this man, because it seems like he knows where you live, to pop up at your house or no food like that. So
that's a good
breaks to just say, it's me, I need to work on me, whatever the case.
Yeah.
But stop dating him.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kyra.
Like, I leaned up to say that exact thing down to the explanation. And I have a recent friend that, similar situation, went down a rabbit hole, found out he told her about some stuff, and then I was like, let's look into this. And he stayed, but she basically just told him that, with everything I have going on, like, I'm just not in a space to date right now. And it leaves it peacefully, because He's not going to try to figure it out. You know, I already told him that you wanted to do the background check. So I would definitely say, like, don't change your number. Don't try to run from it. Because
make sure you change your locks. Like if you had any of your door codes, any of that, make sure you change all of that. And yeah. And also, just lastly, I have learned the hard way. Whenever men are moving very fast, you're an awesome person. I'm sure that you are. Whenever men are moving super fast, though, it's because they're hiding something and they want to lock you in, lock your heart in, lock your friends and family into this image of how great he initially was. So that when the real him comes out, you stuck. You're too big. You're worried about being embarrassed. Oh, but you were all over my social media. You know, I took you to my family reunion, to my this, that. They want everyone who you would be embarrassed, you know, if that person knew how messed up the relationship really was, you would just keep it to yourself. Because there's a lot of girls who are suffering in silence because of their concern about how it would look. So watch out anytime a man is trying to move super fast to move in or do anything that's going to be a lifetime decision.
Yeah.
Okay. Love bombing. Yep. All right. Any final questions? We really appreciate your time.
No, I have some personal work to do. And I'm gonna go pour a big drink.
You got this, girl.
It's not a reflection of you.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of him.
But
absolutely.
If anyone else, girls, guys, whoever, if you would like an investigation done into someone in your life, it could be a coworker, it could be maybe you're thinking of proposing to your girlfriend. Maybe it's your son's, you know, potential fiance or your son's girlfriend or, you know, your best friend's boyfriend, whoever it is. You can reach out to me at records, plural, records at redwinelaw.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know your name and your contact info and who it is that you'd like looked into, right? Explored, and any of their identifying information, such as their name, date of birth, city, and state. All right, ladies, thank you guys so much for joining us. Before we go, let us know where they can find you, ladies. Again, start with Kyra.
My Instagram, which is pretty much the only social media I have right now, but I'm going to get better. It's Kyra, Kara.Camille, Kamille. And our firm's website is Bastine, B as in boy, ASTINE, law.com. And like I said, if you or anyone you know has any family law, divorce, custody, child support needs in Houston, give us a call.
Absolutely. All right, Kyra.
You guys can find me socially at It's Coffee Time, ITSCOFFEYTIME. But like Kyra, I'm trying to do better with my social media. And I also have a page called attorney_coffee, and that's COFFEY. But if you are in need of any business matters, trademarks, estate planning, probate, or real estate, commercial or residential, reach out to us at the Curry Law Firm, and that is theclfirm.com.
Thanks again. Oh, one more time. One more for Natasha. Sorry about that.
Okay, so I'm the lit lawyer, and that's me on all social media platforms, but Instagram's probably the main one for me too. And my law firm is Harrison Advocates, and it's harrisonadvocates.com. No special spelling, just that way.
Absolutely. And Anonymous, I want you to read the comments, the live chat comments. You can, even after the live is concluded, you can actually watch it and you can click live chat. You'll see all the comments. They are so encouraging. You have a community of women that are out here encouraging you. Do not give up on love. You found this out early. It could be worse, girl. You did a really good job. You know, you have really protected yourself, and hopefully other women see this, do it themselves, and protect themselves as well. Thank you, ladies, again. You guys have a great night. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks to my moderators, Dina, Crystal, Really B, as well as Abby. You guys have a good night.
Good night.
Bye, guys.